The homeroom teacher was surprised to discover that the young master, who used to fall asleep as soon as class started, was actually listening attentively today. But it wasn't that he didn't want to sleep, he simply didn't dare. She had warned him that if he fell asleep again, she would stab him in the face. In truth, the young master couldn't understand why the girl was so fixated on him. There were so many students in the class, yet she kept her eyes on him alone. What he didn't know was that years later, she would become his rightful wife. In their previous life, she had mistakenly trusted a scumbag and helped him obtain the inheritance, only to be discarded once he succeeded. Throughout it all, the boy had remained loyal to her, never abandoning her. Yet in the end, even he was not spared by the scumbag. Given a second chance at life, the girl swore she would help the boy pull himself together and reclaim the inheritance that rightfully belonged to him. When the scumbag came to the classroom and asked her to step outside for a private talk, his face reminded her of the moment he had killed her in her previous life. Still, she followed him to see what he wanted. Outside, he scolded her for ignoring his calls and refusing to tutor him, claiming her behavior would ruin their chances of winning the English competition prize. The girl sneered and told him she would not participate in the competition, nor would she tutor him anymore. Enraged, he accused her of being ungrateful, saying that if not for him, she would have been ruined by hooligans long ago. She laughed coldly and exposed the lie. The one who had saved her back then was not him, but the young master. By a twist of fate, the scumbag had taken the credit and used that false favor to force her into tutoring him, eventually winning the competition and securing the inheritance. This time, she threatened to expose his deception to the entire school if he dared to harass her again. She then went straight to the homeroom teacher's office and announced she was withdrawing from the competition. The teacher reminded her that the gold prize came with a recommendation slot to Ching University and would greatly impact her future. Knowing that in her previous life the scumbag had used this very opportunity to enter Ching University, she insisted that she would only compete if she could choose her own partner. She chose Gu Mingnan, a student notorious for being the worst in school. Everyone was stunned, and even his father believed he was hopeless. But she refused to compete without him, leaving the teacher no choice but to agree. Back at school, she immediately began forcing Gu Mingnan to study. He resisted, wanting to play games instead, and even challenged her to make him do the work. Furious but confident from their shared past life, she used a simple trick: eye drops to fake tears. Gu Mingnan, who had 3 principles of never hitting girls, never scolding girls, and being most afraid of girls crying, quickly gave in and completed the test paper. To everyone's surprise, he answered every question correctly. The girl knew the truth: his English skills were practically native level. He had only pretended to rank last to avoid competing with his younger brother, and a small English contest meant nothing to him. However, on the day of the competition, his phone was unreachable. The scumbag arrived at the venue with his parents and mocked the girl for standing alone. His father even advised her to withdraw, claiming his son was a useless failure who would never show up. As the competition began, the host noticed she was the only participant without a partner and warned that she might lose her qualification. The other contestants laughed at her for choosing a delinquent instead of a top student, certain she would miss the gold prize. Just then, the venue doors were kicked open. A voice rang out, declaring that he had arrived.